Robert Kiyosaki is a businessman, investor, and writer. He has written several books about financial education, including Rich Dad, Poor Dad, considered one of the most influential books on financial literacy. Kiyosaki shares his two fathers, the rich dad he had in his youth and the poor dad he had as an adult, and explains how their differences shaped his views on money. Here are the 10 most important lessons Robert Kiyosaki teaches in Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. Number 1. Listening is more important than talking. According to Robert Kiyosaki, listening is more important than talking. If that were not true, God would not have given us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. Too many people think with their mouths instead of listening to absorb new ideas and possibilities. They argue instead of asking questions. Listening allows us to absorb information in ways that help us make better decisions. More importantly, it will enable us to learn from other people's mistakes and successes. For any of this to work, we have to be willing to pay attention and focus on what someone else has to say, even if we disagree with them. Number 2. Be in control of your emotions. One of the most critical lessons Robert Kiyosaki teaches in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is that you need to be in control of your emotions. This is because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of something, whether a new job or a new relationship, and make decisions based on emotion rather than logic. In Kiyosaki's opinion, emotion is one of the main reasons why some people end up poor. They allow their feelings to dictate how they act and make decisions, which can lead to problems down the road. He believes that people who can control their emotions and keep them from getting out of hand are the ones who will be able to get ahead in life. So, if you're going through a tough time right now, don't let it get the best of you. Remember, keep your mind clear and think about what's best for everyone involved before making any decision. Number 3. Financial education is your greatest asset. Rich Dad, Poor Dad's book says, money isn't one's greatest asset. Our minds are the most powerful asset we all have. If properly trained, it has the potential to generate enormous wealth, says Kiyosaki. For him, intelligence solves problems and produces money, but money without financial intelligence is quickly lost, he adds. Kiyosaki wants to portray financial education's importance and that our schools don't teach us to become financially literate. Many financial problems arise as a result of a lack of financial education. Financial education is your greatest asset. It allows you to understand how money works, to use it wisely to build wealth and create opportunities for yourself and others. Start or continue your financial education by reading books, listening to podcasts, and getting valuable resources from financial coaches or mentors. Number 4. Work to learn, don't work to earn. This is contrary to what most people are taught. You must go to school and get a steady job to earn money for your family. Robert Kiyosaki's book is filled with examples of people who started with nothing but an idea. They worked hard, learned new skills, and built businesses from the ground up. He emphasizes the importance of working on learning, not just earning. He says that if you only work to make money, you'll always be a wage slave. You're doing what everyone else does, accepting the same old thing daily. But if you work to learn new skills and gain knowledge, you'll be able to create opportunities for success, which is the key to financial freedom. When we invest in ourselves by learning new skills or gaining new knowledge, we build our financial future, rather than just scraping by paycheck to paycheck as most people do. Number 5. Pay yourself first. In the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, Robert Kiyosaki teaches the importance of paying yourself first. He says that when trying to change your financial situation, you must treat yourself like an investor and put money aside for your future. Paying yourself first means saving and investing money before you spend on anything else. You have to make saving a priority before you can start investing. When you pay yourself first, you ensure that your retirement fund is ready and waiting for you when you need it. You don't have to worry about whether or not you'll have money saved up when it comes time to retire. It's also a great way to prepare for emergencies, like losing your job or having an accident requiring extensive medical care. Instead of worrying about how you'll pay those bills right away, knowing that there's money aside helps alleviate stress and anxiety around those situations. Number 6. Buy luxuries last, not first. In his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki enlightens his readers with his personal experiences and lessons. He explains that the rich do things differently than the middle class and poor. One of the main differences is how they spend their money. The wealthy spend money on items that increase their value over time, such as education, real estate, and businesses. These assets help them build wealth over time through passive income streams. The middle class spends money on items that decrease in value over time, such as cars and clothes. These items decrease in value over time because they depreciate quickly. Many believe that to be wealthy and successful, they must spend money on status symbols, expensive cars, designer clothes, and more. In reality, however, these are not the things that make a person rich. They can hold you back from reaching your goals. This is an important lesson because it shows how setting your priorities correctly can help you make better decisions about spending on what matters. Number 7. Learn to differentiate an asset and a liability. One of these lessons that Robert Kiyosaki shares with his readers is to differentiate an asset and a liability. Assets are things that make you money. Liabilities are things that cost you money. He explains how this lesson is critical because it will help you understand how to invest in assets that will grow your wealth. Do not spend money on things that will only decrease value over time. For example, suppose you buy a house and it's not paid off, and you must pay property taxes yearly. In that case, that's a liability because it costs you money every year. However, if your house is paid off and earns rent every month, that's an asset because it makes money for you every month. Robert Kiyosaki tells us that if something you buy will put money in your pocket, that is an asset. On the contrary, if it takes money out of your pocket, it is a liability. Number 8. Aim for more assets. In his book, Kiyosaki explains that he had 2 dads. One was his biological father, who taught him about working for money and saving for the future. The other was a man named Rich Dad, who showed him how to earn more than enough to live off of by investing in assets. Kiyosaki learned that the best way to build wealth is to focus on making income from your assets instead of just working for money. Robert Kiyosaki believes that the best way to build wealth is to invest in assets that can produce income and appreciate over time, like stocks and real estate. He argues that most people spend their money on liabilities, which are things like debts and loans that cost you money over time. You're trading current income for future income when you spend your money on liabilities. You get both current and future income when you spend money on assets. Number 9. Make money work for you. Robert Kiyosaki explains how to make money your slave instead of the other way around. There are 2 types of people in this world: those who make money work for them and those who let their money operate for others. The difference between these 2 types of people is how they view money. Those who make money work for them believe that money is a tool that can be used to achieve goals, build wealth, and make life better. On the other hand, those who let their money work for other people see it as a means to an end. They use it to buy things they don't need, hoping that this will make them happy. If you want to get rich, you need to stop thinking like a middle-class person and start thinking like an entrepreneur. You need to consider how much money you can make from the things already around you. Number 10. The lack of money is the root of all evil. Most people think that money is the root of all evil, but in fact, it's the lack of money that causes most problems. One of the most crucial lessons Robert Kiyosaki teaches in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is that the lack of money is the root of all evil. He says, money is not evil, but the love of money can be. Indeed, people who are obsessed with money can often make bad decisions to get more of it. But it's also true that people without money often make immoral decisions because they're desperate to get more. When you're broke, you'll do anything to earn money, even if it means lying, stealing, or cheating others. On the other hand, when you're rich, you'll do anything not to lose that wealth. You may do the same thing. The problem isn't having or not having money, it's what we do with it that causes problems. If you want to be rich, you have to start thinking rich. And if you want to start thinking rich, The first thing you need to do is understand how rich people think. Robert Kiyosaki's best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has become a go-to resource for many of us trying to navigate the confusing world of finance. It's full of valuable lessons we can use to make more informed decisions about our money and lives. Watch this next video over here!